Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very rare interview with the legendary Monstera, aka the Painter Crow of Rust. Some of you might know her as the creator of my Tiger Skin Twitch drop, one of her many collaborations with Willjum from Kingdoms 1 and 2, or her countless paintings she draws entirely in the game of Rust, where we are currently sitting. Monstera recently has had her own Twitch drop and is the first streamer to create their own skin entirely. With over 200,000 claims on your Twitch drop, well over 1 million live views in the past 10 days, years of hard work and dedication, and becoming the fourth most watched female streamer on Twitch in the second week of August after just a few days ago having only a few thousand followers. How are you feeling?
Hello, hi Drizza. Thank you for such a nice intro. I'm feeling really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I've got a few questions prepared for you before we get into your Rust journey.
Okay.
First of all, where did this concept of becoming a character that is always dressed as a crow, creating hundreds of paintings in a 10-year-old survival game, which just so happens to have an MS Paint-esque canvas interface? Why art in Rust?
Well, first of all, I've always loved crows and I have always enjoyed the concept of crows in paintings, in clothing, in anywhere. The symbolic thing behind the crow being a very intelligent animal that remembers faces, animal that is sort of on its own. And I believe I share a lot of personality with that bird. So when I saw the outfit, the raven poncho and raven skull mask, I knew immediately that that is something that I want to wear in this game. I like when somebody has a symbolic clothing, something that makes them stand out, something that makes them recognizable. And in the RP community, which I am a part of, that is very important because that is exactly how people remember you and recognize you. So that is how I decided to become this character that I am, that you guys usually recognize from the outfit. How did I become a crow painter? Well, I've always loved painting, so it was like a logical thing to do when I saw that there are canvases in game, and when I saw it, I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna paint. I love painting.
You have so many interesting and inspiring stories to tell from just Rust alone. You've created hundreds of pieces of art and played in charity events and other Rust events. What's it been like as somebody with all of these accolades and achievements to finally be receiving the recognition you deserve on your own platform instead of somebody else's?
It has been a great honor. When I first found out about the Twitch drop, I was very honored and very flattered because I never thought that I could have such high honor like receiving a Twitch drop. Coming from a PvE community, role player community, a smaller community in Rust, I felt like an achievement after many years of working on promoting the community and promoting what we do. I sort of represent, in a way, that secret part of Rust that I'm very proud of. And because of it, during this week, I wanted to do my best to not only put a spotlight on that hidden part of the community, but also put the spotlight on many individuals that created and shaped the community to be what it is today. I didn't want to just highlight my art. I wanted to highlight the entire world that inspired me to become who I am today.
So you've taken a lot of time for others during your own drop, and every great creator needs to take time to be introspective, to look at themselves and the things that they've done. So I want to ask you what the most important thing is that you've learned about yourself during this explosive growth you've had over the past year.
I believe what I learned the most is to not take this game too seriously. Everybody is often very emotionally connected to the game, which leads to this game becoming way too much at some point. I started letting go of many moments, many injustices, many failures. Rust is all about winning and losing. It is healthy to know when to let go. It's healthy to acknowledge the loss. It's healthy to celebrate the victories. It's healthy to congratulate your opponents. I developed this very healthy mindset about the game, and this is such a difficult question. It's hard to answer it. um,
So, is this your first time having this much exposure online? Is this one of your like first times getting millions and millions of views as a creator? Like, how are you handling it outside of the game?
It is overwhelming for sure. I try not to look at the numbers, and because the numbers don't really determine somebody's growth. I know that these numbers are just here currently because of the drops, but despite of that, I've encountered so many incredible people during this week, and they have showed me how does it feel to be loved and supported. It has been overwhelming, but I have gotten nothing but support from everyone. Everybody made sure to alleviate that pressure from me that I had this week. Because of it, it just felt very natural. And I would say I wasn't even nervous as much for the past 11 days. It has been just really, really natural and relaxing to hang out with everyone. So it has been great.
One of the biggest things that I've learned is people just like authenticity. They don't like when people put on an act. You can put on a character, right? But they don't like when you're faking your personality. So just being a really truthful, authentic person will get you very far as a creator.
Yeah.
So, as a very unique creator yourself in a very niche game like Rust, what is the message that you're trying to convey through your art and video? And do you see yourself breaking out into other games or content styles in the future?
I think that's a very nice thing that you said. It's so important to be yourself as a content creator, as an artist, as a player, whoever you are. It's important to do what you like and represent what you like. That is something that I do with my art as well. I just paint what inspires me. I just paint what shapes me as a person. I want to make people happy with my art. I want to make people wonder. I want to make people ask questions. As an artist, you always want to create a situation where you drag someone in with your art and they find like pieces of themselves in it. Obviously, I want to expand that. There is so much more outside of Rust. As a content creator, I've never thought that I would call myself content creator one day, but it is slowly becoming my full-time job, and I would love to branch out. I would love to try out other games, try out other communities, see how it goes, see how it feels, and see how it's gonna impact myself and my art and my creation through exploration of different things.
Yeah, Rust is really like a baseline where people can grow from, like a foundation, and a lot of them get stuck. Almost everybody that is a full time Rust content creator struggles to do anything else. It's better to get that struggle out of the way early. Something that I think Rust content creators need to do after a certain point is branch out and try new things and stop getting stuck in the same rut every single day. So you have played in charity events like Fur Rust, raised thousands of dollars through your art for charities, played in, I don't even know, a dozen Rust events. You're in a bunch of content creators' videos like Willjum, where you've collaborated and painted a base to blend into the forest.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got some images prepared that you want to show, right, of your Rust journey, how you got to where you are now, showcasing some of the people you've met, things you've done, and experiences you've had. We can pull that up if you want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have quite a lot of them, and I wanted to download all of the images to show you guys, but there is just thousands and thousands of them, so we're just gonna fly through them. But I wanted to show some of the first experiences and first screenshots because the start of the story is what is most important, and because of the beginning of the story is what made me paint today. I've started playing Rust in 2016, but unfortunately I do not have screenshots from that time. So the first screenshots I have are from December 2021, and this is when I joined Rust with another artist called Movesy. We started playing on PvP servers where we started making art galleries. And this is our first art gallery ever. It was on Vital Rust. And for those people who know, Vital Rust is a heavy PvP server with hundreds of people and giant Zerg groups with like 30 to 60 people, really depends on the server. But we made this like open gallery on an island. These were some of our first paintings, and this was the first ever friendly player that we met in Rust. Shout out to King P. I don't know if he's still playing Rust, but we made this art gallery, and I'm gonna tell a little story about it because this is the reason why I'm painting today. When we were done with filling up all of these canvases, we wrote in global chat that there is an art gallery in here and there, and whoever wants to come over, they're free to look at art. There was this Korea clan with a lot of people. They were very confused. They thought this was a trap base, obviously. What we didn't know, they were the biggest clan on the server. They were the biggest clan on the server. They came over, and in just moments, they took over our base. They completely closed it off within just like 1 minute, because that group works as one. So you have a leader, and you have a leader of the builders, you have leader of the farmers, leader of this and that. The leader just said, okay, we're taking over this gallery. They closed it off, added the windows, doors, everything. The entire gallery was done in like under 1 minute. What they did, they spawned us into their base. We moved the artwork over there. They built us an art gallery in the middle of their compound, closed us off, and we were painting completely safe from the rest of the server. It was around Christmas time, so the guys were hanging out. They were just, sitting around the painting, talking about life, talking about Rust, talking about their experiences. It was the first time in a couple of years that this group has actually started talking between each other. They are heavy PvPers. All they do is focus on PvP and nothing else. This was the first time that they actually stopped and they started talking. The leader of Korea then told us that completely changed everything. He never knew anything about his teammates. They never had this wholesome time where they were sitting together, talking, having fun. He said that was the best day of his Rust experience ever. And it was all because of art. They called Mike the Vike back then, and Mike the Vike made a video featuring this gallery, which was really cool. And on YouTube, I have this tab called Featured and Mentioned, where you guys can see some of those videos. And I'm just gonna open this up, but here at the very end, you guys can see the gallery. And this was like our first feature and first time being seen by content creators. At that moment, I realized just how much art can have an impact on somebody. And so we decided to keep on doing that. And over time, we joined many servers. We found out about PvE, that you can actually paint and not being shot in the back. So we joined Rust Empires in the early days, and we started making art galleries. Usually we would just build somewhere far at the end of the map, somewhere where we're not in a way of anyone. We would claim some like furthest land and just paint and have fun. We met a lot of amazing people, like, for example, Old Man Peculiar is a person that I very dearly remember. It's a very special player that plays this game in a different way, and it inspired me a lot. Old Man Peculiar is a player that is like an older gentleman, and he likes to give himself a little challenge every wipe. So for example, he will live only on collecting things from water barrels, or he will live a wipe of only collecting things that other people drop, or only out of fishing. Every single wipe, he would make himself a little challenge. He was one of the really wholesome people that we met at the very beginning, who was visiting our gallery quite a lot. Because of people like that who made our experience fun, we stayed on that server for a really long time and made quite a lot of art galleries. As you can see, our first galleries were just floors and walls, nothing crazy. But the number of paintings slowly started increasing. Our galleries became bigger and bigger, and we started taking requests, so we started painting other people. At the end of each wipe, this was something that we used to do because on that server, purge is something that was a concept. So on the last day of wipe, the PvE rules lift up and the server becomes a PvP server. So in order to protect our art, what we did, we would always close our gallery, but wipe every single artwork and leave only things like this. So we would troll a little bit, like, how many rockets did it take you to raid an art gallery? This is my first painting for the Church of the Dome. I wanted to make a creation of a player. This was one of my first YouTube videos where I started uploading my time lapses on YouTube. The reason why I started uploading time lapses on YouTube was because people just did not believe that I drew that. So in order to prove that I painted that, I started uploading, time lapses. When somebody would say, "Oh, you used Rust Angelo" or similar things, I would just tell them, just go on my YouTube and check it out. I also loved filming the reactions of people. This is something that people like the most, is just seeing the reactions and the happiness. That is something that I'm hooked on. The positivity that you get when you create an artwork for someone, the smile on their faces, the reactions. It's something I love the most. And it is why I paint still up today. We started exploring how to make art more fun. We started painting on these like multiple canvases, and we would leave this all over the server. And this was the first city that I visited. It was King's City, and I made a painting for them. If you guys look at over here, it says Buttard's auction. It was the first time that I realized there are other artists on the server, because Movesy and I would just join in, and like I said, we would just choose some corner of the map and we would not even talk to people that much. And then I realized there are these cities on the server. There are other artists. The other artists that were on the server were Buttered, Tim Tordashian, Creative, and Da Vinci. I was beyond happy to see that there are more people who are doing art like we did. Because, I thought we were the only ones. I couldn't find any other artists around. But yeah, this is just like an example of, I would wake up in the morning and go on random server. I think this was this in Nardo's? Yeah, in Nardo's server. I would come in, leave a couple of paintings, and go. And I would just leave it like this, in the middle of nowhere. This one was Spoon Kid's one, and I think Spoon actually saw this, and he commented like how crazy this was. I think this is the first time we actually came back to Rust Empires and decided to stay. So this was Lucid City, and I was just very, very inspired with their build. It was like this beautiful coastal city that I loved so much, and I made them a painting. And this is how I met my best friend over here. This is Japanter. Japanter is my best friend that I met in Rust. He loved my artwork so much. He was like a crazy fan, as he likes to call it, freaking out every time when he saw my artwork around. And we had so many amazing adventures. We started doing signs for people's shops. And this is where people started to learn more about us. And we got more invited to like other cities and other groups. People started know us as the artists. This is me painting for a clan called Bud. I spent quite a lot of wipes with this clan. They were city builders, so they were in charge of making Bud City. They were actually one of the most, I would say, most active clans on the server. They always made these incredibly beautiful cities. Katsuo and Scratch, they are such talented builders and talented artists and individuals. They were making very comfy but very decorative cities. This was my my cute little 2x1 room. I started playing with this group and with a whole bunch of other people, and it made me so happy. It made me so happy that I can be creative and that I can feel like I'm part of the group, and it inspired me to do a lot of fun things in Rust and to keep on painting, to keep on making people happy with my art. So there has been a lot of fun and crazy adventures on that server, painting for other clans, painting for other cities, visiting all kinds of parties and events. Oh, I have to show this. This is Hobo Greg. Hobo Greg is the best. He always had these hobo builds in Frontier. Here I was in this community of people who are hosting parties and events, and admins would spawn in these crazy things from the sky to troll with all of us. This is one of the iconic paintings that a lot of people know, and it's based on this Freeman Tower that was built every wipe. The chicken was never killed. The chicken escaped, just so you guys know. This was one of my favorite wipes. We had a city that was sort of centered around this giant circle area, and we used this area for various events. So it was like a multi-purpose thing. Over here we had a fighting arena. Then the next day it would turn into farmers market. Farmers market is something that I was most proud of because it was my event that I was organizing, and it would host people from all over the server. They would have like these little food stalls and furniture stalls, and everybody got to decorate their own little place. And then on the farmers market, you could buy all kinds of produces. And there was a lot of commercials from other businesses on the server. And at the end, obviously, the end of the farmers market would be a concert because people like to party. We used a lot of custom skins as well because we had skin box. So a lot of the custom skins were just mimicking some decorations to make things look more RP. So as you can see, like you have these special doors, special rugs, obviously things that you don't see in vanilla Rust. The little flowers on the wall, anything that can be decorative. And you can see from the sky how our cities looked like. So this was the central area where we had the farmers market, and then we had like these little streets where we had residents and people that were living in the rooms. So for those people who are not familiar with that, you can, on these servers, you can go in the cities and rent a room and then live out of that room instead of like building your own base. And I started meeting more and more artists, and more artists started joining the server. This is the first time I met Daryl. Daryl! And you guys can see Bonk in the distance as well. Bonk was doing photography back in the day, and this is the first bingo. The first Sunday bingo. I started painting admins, and it is a really fun project that I had. Every single admin I painted in like their own outfits, just like I have my own crow outfit. Every admin had their own fit, so they are recognizable. So I started painting all of them, and I think I have 11 admin portraits altogether over the time. Oh, I want to showcase this because it's very, very special, very dear to me. So this is the house that Japanter built for me. And this is the house that I still use on every server. Everywhere that I go, I still build this same house. I just love the design of it, and it looked like this creepy little witch house. I'm just eternally grateful for it. And he even made this little art over here, like a cat and a crow. This is by Love Clan, and they are amazing builders. I still remember this build, and I was so shocked when I saw it because it's beautiful. And this is the first time where I painted my self-portrait. This is the first time where I actually completely embraced my character. This is the first time I met Greenman. Here's Mr. Green, and look at him. He is not so green here. He used to wear this all the time. And this is where more and more people started joining in the server, much more artists. This is where my YouTube started reaching out to other people. So around this time, there was more people joining who said, I saw your painting on YouTube. I got interested in painting and I decided to, join the server and paint. And this is where I made my garage door. So a lot of people who play PvE here, most of the people don't know that I actually made quite a lot of RP skins that people use on all of the PvE servers. So this skin is like probably the most popular one, and there's a couple of others that I did. Whenever I join any PvE servers, all of those skins are there, and I'm like, oh my god! This was a really cool wipe. MoveZ came back to the server. He hasn't been playing for a couple of months. And we decided to make a forest filled with art. We had the gallery look like a walkthrough. And it was also the first time that I've ever built my art gallery, my own personal one. Because I was always sharing my art with somebody, but I never built my own personal space. So this was my first gallery. This was my mural. These are some incredible pieces by MoveZ. So we had this like forest walkway that was filled with art. There was art everywhere, and all of the art in the walkway was fresh art. So during that wipe, we painted like 40 new pieces or something just to have the fresh paintings. And this was it. I liked organic builds. So my gallery was, these little gazebos and art everywhere. This is what I like. This is the style of building that I like. And this is people visiting my gallery for the first time. This was the first time that I displayed all of my paintings. So this was a very special moment. This is where I started my journey with other content creators, and I made a video on it. Sinks posted this on his Twitter, and I told him I'll draw you a Rust cat. So I went in Rust and I went to my art gallery and I decided to draw him a cat with with rocket launcher and the face mask that I saw on his YouTube videos, and he loved it. When I finished it, I posted it on Twitter, and he he loved it so much. And then Tacular saw it, and he's like, I would love a cat using a Tech AK. I went back to Rust again, and I painted him this kitty with his AK. He loved it. He reposted it, and then Sir Winter commented. There ain't no way you can do a Kelpie with Sir Winter assault rifle. It's too detailed. And I said, hold my brush. Let me get a few hours of sleep and I'm accepting your challenge. And Ern commented, please record it. Obviously, I went in Rust and I took the challenge, but I took it to the next level because not only did I draw his dog, not only did I draw his AK that took me almost 5 hours, I also painted his Tsar, and then I also painted his wife Pookie, and then I added their cats as well as stickers. I went like all the way. And he said, this is the best artwork I've ever seen in Rust. He was very happy. She was very happy. And this is where Sir Winter messaged me next week and said, hey, let's collaborate. And this was my first collaboration with another content creator. We built an art gallery on his server where we were selling the paintings for scrap. He was gambling all the scrap while I was hungry and painting. At that point, I realized, okay, I need to step up. I need to post more videos. I need to start thinking of making other kind of content. So I made the flower shop video, which was my first non-time-lapse video. There's also Lamp featured in there, and Da Vinci, and a lot of different artists, and I was selling my artwork, and it was really fun. And this was charitable rust. So I was painting the hazies that were carrying water because the theme was water. And this is where I met Hedge for the first time and where I met most of the artists. This is where I started talking a little bit more with people, barely. But I made a video where I wanted to really showcase how nice everybody was. This is where I met Becca something for the first time, T-Guy Tom for the first time, Jennifer for the first time, so many people for the first time. And this is my promo painting that I did for Uterust. It was for the first Uterust. It was hosted by Becca something. A lot of different vibes, a lot of different servers. This was made for Face Punch, 10th anniversary of Rust. This is the first sub-village that I ever joined. I was terrified. I had no idea what I'm doing. I was scared. And this is the first sub-village that I joined with Da Vinci. And it was Mr. Wobbles, the elf one. And Da Vinci painted this for him. I was Christmas wife. I also painted this for the elves. This was me filming intro for my self-portrait video, which you know, still up to date is one of my favorite paintings. And this intro was also an inspiration for the trailer of my garage doors that Trissa did. And this is first birthday of Art of Rust. We had an art wall with all of different artists. Some of the Movesies' big pieces, Da Vinci's big piece. We had a giant stage. We had like a racetrack. This was the concert stage. Silver foxes, fireworks. It was amazing. And here, this is the first time I learned how to use demos and like debug camera properly, and I was just taking some cool screenshots. I love this shot, and Patty commented on this. He really loved this shot as well. This was also cool, this rocket in the middle of the flying. This was the art gallery on Method, and this was where I made my flower shop. And this is where we joined Rain's sub-village. Da Vinci and I decided to make a collaboration of two hazies shaking their hands. This was right before region warfare, and this is where the ideas started to sparkle. Because region warfare was split between desert, snow, and forest, we decided to add another hazy in the middle. This is where we made this thing. This was our ticket to region warfare. Rain and Chrissy did a 4 horsemen thing for the region warfare, and we helped them with a trailer where we burned the paintings, but we burned only the forest and the winter one, leaving the desert, because desert is where we were living. So we wanted to send a message that desert is gonna be the winner of the region warfare. This is me preparing screenshots. And this is us preparing paintings for the 4 horsemen. So Da Vinci and I did a collab. I did too. He did too. We made Chrissy built this giant stadium that was color coded because each horseman was a different color. So we had Dala, who was the red color. We had Dirt Rider, that was black color. Rain was white, and blue was Chrissy. And we also color coded the gallery. So you see, like, black artworks were in the black section, blue artworks were in the blue section, and so on. And we also started working on the mural. So for those who know about the Global Warfare mural that we just did, this is what it was supposed to be. But we didn't have time. It was not planned from my side enough, and we spent a lot of time farming. It was, again, like this very unique thing that people have not seen before. Because art in Rust from the content creator side was not that much represented. There were just a few videos that had art in them, and, you know, one of those were the Sir Winter collaboration that I did with him. This was our first, like, big opportunity to show many players what we do. Most of the people have never seen anything like this in Rust before. It was sort of a first breakthrough event where all of the people who were here in the event, including Fancy Orb, they got to know a little piece of the community that was already growing on Art of Rust. This was a huge project made by Phil, Da Vinci, and me. We went on a creative server where we started brainstorming. We had an idea of making like this amusement park. We wanted to incorporate everything that we do. So building, electricity, art. We called it Rustic Reef. Rustic Reef was one of the most thought of creative projects that I've been on. We built it on Method server. We also made a bunch of videos about. It was a massive project. It was amazing. A lot of content creators came over to visit it. It is where we sort of just showcased everything that we do. I didn't make a video on it, but Da Vinci and Phil did. I have this featured and mentioned tab where I try to save some of these important events. Phil has a very interactive video talking about how we built the Rustic Reef. So this is where Da Vinci and I went on a mission to talk more about art community, and this was a couple of months of constant grind. We became more known around the content creator community. We started getting more and more invited to different subwipes, to different YouTube videos, to different happenings. When I was painting with Movesy, I didn't know that other people existed. I didn't know that there were other artists till we started sort of all grouping up. Da Vinci and I, we went on a mission to group up more people with us. We kept joining all of these events to spread the word about art. Look at Trizza Chicken here. This was Yexum's Clothathon, where Yexum was playing for 30 days, making farms, getting the cloth. We painted so many paintings in his base to sort of lift up the mood. It was a 30-day grind, and it was a giant project. He had a different content creator join him every single day to help him with the farm. This is where we started building big in Art of Rust. We started expanding and making really big galleries. A lot of artists started joining our server. Our art galleries would fill up with art within a couple of days, and it started blooming. This was like the spring of Art of Rust slowly. Da Vinci and I joined Rexmore for the first time for his sub-village. We did quite a lot of paintings, and I think all of you guys will recognize one painting pretty soon. This is the Dragon Launcher painting that I turned into a mousepad. And this is the first time that I met B. I saw B's artwork on Twitter, I asked, like, what server are you playing on? Where are you? And she said, I'm on RE. And I'm like, no way. And this was the moment where I finally went into her art gallery and I spent hours looking at every piece. And I was so in love with her style, with her personality. And this is the first Bone Walls event. For those who don't know, Bone Walls project is a project by Shadowhopper, who has been asking every single day on Twitter for bone walls for the past, I don't even know how many days, almost 600 days. And we made this art gallery in celebration of bone walls. This was day 100 of bone walls. These were the paintings made for Shadowhopper. And this is where Rustic Reef ended up on Community Update. This was Yakov's subwipe. Da Vinci and I, we were building a gallery on top of this pirate little village. And even though it was rated very, very early on, we managed to do a couple of paintings and we also made a lot of people paint, which was really cool. And since his place was raided, I decided to go on Art of Rust and I built him a little party pirate spot. And there were a couple of paintings that we managed to salvage and save. I made a little art gallery here and he invited all of his friends from the wipe and they had a lovely party in here. And we built him a ship and everything. This was our Mediterranean Greek wipe where we had a giant gallery. I was in charge of building this wipe. So how we do it on Art of Rust, we sort of rotate who's going to make like the main gallery and such. And I made these little Mediterranean houses that were built for little individual galleries. And that was the main gallery up there. And this is Kingdoms. This is where Kingdoms 1 happened. We built a little village in the event. We were independent artists and we became a very important part of the event, completely unplanned. For those who are watching for the first time, Rust Kingdoms is an event where all of the big gaming content creators and streamers would come together to play Rust. I did not know almost any of them. And you can see XQC here, you saw Valkyrie, all of the big content creators were playing the event and we were just little artists. I have a story of Rust Kingdoms on my YouTube and after this drop week I will start editing part 3. I have part 1 and part 2 posted. Patty, when they added the cinema lights. This was Global Warfare 2. We were part of Canada, Rexmoor's Canada. This was on Rexmoor's server, so Da Vinci and I, we hopped on his server to build the city beforehand so that we know how it's gonna look like. So what we did is we wanted to have everything prepared, pre-built, prepare screenshots, so we know exactly where each foundation is gonna be. This is the shopping district that I designed, and Rexmoor designed the main building, Da Vinci designed the art gallery. And we might be a little bit crazy, but you see this edge of this rock over here? There was another rock on this side, and I knew exactly where I'm gonna place the first foundation. Based on the first foundation, all of these others would line up. That is something that we did for Global Warfare, and so when we joined the event, we knew exactly that all of these buildings are gonna fit perfectly the way they were pre-designed to be. And that's why Canada looked so beautiful. Here, there was so many events that happened. The Ukanda with Fancy Orb, the Halloween time, the Charitable Rust, where I won the first prize, and Rust Kingdoms 2. I started streaming, and this is where a lot of people got to know me more. I started talking more, I started reaching out more, I started posting more. This is where we all connected with a lot of different content creators, and this is where I started my journey with Willjum. I have a couple of screenshots that Da Vinci sent me. This is from Kingdoms 2, where Willjum asked us to paint the banners. We painted so many paintings during Kingdoms. Our paintings were all over the kingdoms. We painted here for Shroud and Iron Mouse. We painted on these giant Binance and Shroud statues. We did not paint the banana, I'm just saying. And yeah, our art was just everywhere, all around the kingdoms. It made a huge impact on what we do today, how we approach the events today. Because of this piece, I started working with Willjum and we decided to make a mousepad together. After a mousepad, we did a lot of collaborations together. And so yeah, just a lot of different paintings. A huge wipe with Mammoth, Drowsy, Tyro, Moons, Galaxy, Bee, Diana, Chloe. This was a really huge Christmas wipe. Wipe with Clamor, Jingle Jam. So many events that we joined in. This was my painting for Rust's 11th birthday. I feel like some people are gonna recognize what are these scribbles here. So these scribbles here are paintings of a rock in snow, and this is from my camo base with Willjum. It was our first video that we did together. It was also my favorite one. It's this one from 7 months ago, and Willjum and I went on a hype-up server and decided to make a camo base. How did we make it a camo base? Well, using signs, because I'm a painter. We managed to survive a crazy server. This is the base. Do you guys see the base? Yep, and then Willjum painted a portrait of me, which was very nice, and we had a really cool conversation about life and content creation and everything. This was during the Fur Rust event where we painted pets for charity and we raised over $10,000. Many pets. This is my giant mural, which is probably my most popular video on YouTube, where I painted a huge battle mural during the Lost AK event. This was all also painted live on stream. It was part of the castle. I have an entire story on my YouTube, and it took me about 55 hours to finish this painting. It was a bit crazy, but it was a really fun project. And this is where I started doing art classes. I do bi-weekly art classes on Art of Rust server, and I also upload the art classes to my YouTube. I've already covered a couple of topics like clouds and foliage and material studies and fire and such. It's a really fun way to introduce new people to art, but also at the same time help out the experienced artists to work more on like technical aspect of the art. Plus it's fun. It's always fun to hang out and paint together, and I've been really enjoying doing these art classes. I also stream them live on Twitch so that anyone can join from any server at any time. During June of this year, we had one of the craziest cities on Art of Rust. This was the Outpost City. It was a project that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. We basically turned Outpost into an art city. We completely removed all of the scientists from it and just filled it with a lot of art. This was Da Vinci's project. It was a cozy base where I built my own room. He's gonna also have a video on this very soon. It was so beautiful. This is the art museum. It is a permanent collection on Art of Rust. So if you guys go to Art of Rust server and you do /museum, you can see the best art of our community in here. And would you look at that? A garage door. This is when I was working on my garage door. And you can see it here on like highest setting, how sharp it is. And you can see this is July 24th is when the global warfare starts. And I finished this night before. I was dead tired and I had to go play global warfare. And I was like, oh, worst timing ever. And so we ended up in Canada for global warfare, and these are the Ooks with their painting. This was the Rustanic that we filled with art. The UN meeting. The art class at the School of Canada. Just so wholesome. Not only that, but the other day actually made a painting, a recreation of my car painting with all of them as a group, which was so wholesome. It's just so amazing. I love Team Japan. They are incredible. And this was inside our gallery at the Global Warfare. And we had so much fun. It is a very recent event, so a lot of you have watched it live, or a lot of you have watched clips from it. Definitely gonna be one of the most memorable events for me. I was very proud of the artists because everybody who visited the gallery, they were just speechless. That was exactly what I wanted to achieve. I wanted everyone to see what our community is about. And this is where our week slowly starts. We had Gato's birthday and a server tour before the drop week started. Gato's amazing birthday party celebration and the entire cat city that Da Vinci built. And this is the drops. This is the last week. Painting with Galaxy. All of these PvPers painting the little galaxies. Us going around on a Zerg. Look at all these green little dots. Insane. And then us playing on PvE server and painting. The art class that we had on Fire. Interviews. So many interviews. So many galleries. The iconic Alistair painting. The giant garage door and the clam art class. This week was just magical. I am so happy that everything that we saw here in all of these years and screenshots, all of it sort of came together in these past 11 days. I am so happy that I managed to pull a lot of people from my past, from the community, to come and join me and show what they do, because these stories, these screenshots, these videos are never shown, they're never talked about. These are the untold stories in Rust, but in my opinion, they are the most beautiful stories, and they show that this game can be something completely different, something that not many people get to experience, but I wish they do. I wish a lot more people have had fun in Rust, or they could just change their meta and try something else. I'm happy that I managed to show it.
These screenshots show what hard work and dedication looks like. It shows what it looks like to be unique in your own way and not be afraid to do what you want to do. It shows people how to find purpose in what they do.
I try my best, and I'll keep on working hard. And I know that This is just the beginning. Rust is growing with each day. Art of Rust community is growing with each day. And we had so many conversations this week with content creators and players of different experiences, different hours in game, different perspectives. Usually in gaming, when a certain game starts blowing up and starts getting more players and the studio starts growing rapidly, the passion is put on a not even a second place, but it's almost put on a last place. Everything becomes very monetary, everything's become corporate. The gaming studio and the game itself is a product and nothing else. For Facepunch, Rust is a dream project. Rust has become something that they are very proud of and something that they are very passionate about. Rust can be a beautiful place, believe it or not, but it can. It really can. I have met so many people in Rust that became my close friends. I have met some of them in real life and I've had some beautiful adventures and beautiful experiences, and it's all just because of this game. In February, I actually quit my game dev job to become a freelancer and a content creator, and I sort of balance both worlds, and I am so happy. I am my own boss. I am pursuing my dreams. I am doing what I love, and it's all because of this game, and it's all because of this community, and I am eternally grateful.
My favorite part about Monstera art is how somebody who is a viewer of Rust can come look at this and be like, oh my god, I've never seen this before. What the heck is going on? The people who do something unique and create an experience for the viewer that they couldn't normally have themselves is really where it's at. You know, discovering a server where they can do crazy building things like this podcast studio that we're in right now. Anybody can do this.
Thank you, Drizza. This was awesome. I appreciate you for taking your time to interview me. You know, at the end of the week, it was so funny when I showed my schedule to chat, and we have like this super packed schedule of so many things happening, and then someone in chat asked like, "When's Monstera interview?" And that moment for me was like, error. 404 error. I forgot about that part.
On that note, we can wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Monstera, and I'm sure chat also thanks you for taking the time to tell us a little bit about yourself. The mysterious crow.
Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys.
And maybe we'll do more of these in the future. We'll see. I don't know. We'll find out. Don't bet on it, but maybe. Leave a like, subscribe, go follow Monstera, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Monstera Rust, or it's Monstera Art over on Twitch. This is good. All right, whatever.
He brought the Mulamaga.
God damn it.
Big Blunky, thank you for the prime.
I've also got a bunch of chickens on me. All right. Don't make me laugh.
Okay, I'll mute myself. I'll mute myself.
We're gonna be super serious. It's super serious time.
Yeah. It's filming time, everyone. We were serious. I'm just gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna keep on laughing.
Okay. No.
Let's go.
No, you can't be laughing when you're talking.
Yeah. Okay, you start whenever you feel like.
Are you done laughing now?
No. I'm reading comments. Sheila says, I think Drizza has an Yoka on him. Check him before the interview.
Oh my god. All right, bloopers. Get the bloopers out of the way. I swear to God, if I start talking and you guys laugh, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to crash out.
Okay. I'm just gonna mute my mic.
I'm gonna crash out. All right.